Every year we face the same challenge, creating a new showreel. We spend all year filming great projects, so surely it's just a case of throwing the best shots together and finding a great music track. In reality, it's much harder than that. We've produced annual showreels for several years now, and each time we're asking ourselves the same question: how do we make this feel fresh? Whether you're a production company, freelancer, or student putting together a reel, that's often the hardest part. Not only do we want to showcase our best work, but we also want potential clients to understand who we are, what it's like to work with us, and why they should choose Manto Films over another video production company. And so this year, we decided to rethink our entire approach. The earliest conversations between our MD Paul and I centered around one thing: doing something different. We reviewed previous showreels, discussed what worked well, and identified what we felt was missing. And whilst our earlier reels showcased strong visuals, they didn't necessarily communicate much about the people behind the cameras, and that's something we believe is one of our biggest strengths. To help develop ideas, we created a Mila note board filled with inspiration, references, and examples of content that felt engaging and authentic. And alongside this, we set up a dedicated Slack channel where the team could quickly share ideas and get feedback. Paul then developed a template structure for the showreel built around 5 key themes: who we are and why it matters, the experience of working with us, our professionalism and values, the quality of our work, and a clear invitation to get in touch. One thing we've learned is that a showreel becomes much easier to edit when you know exactly what message you're trying to communicate before you start cutting the footage together. Initially, we considered producing something more like a scripted advert. However, we quickly realised that this might feel forced and less authentic. So instead, we'd landed somewhere between a traditional film and a brand film. And a major source of inspiration was the brand film we created for one of our clients, Conquer.
Everything that we do at Conquer is based upon the quality of our staff. Our experience allows us to innovate. It just so happens that we make furniture.
We loved how genuine conversations and real voices help tell the story, so we decided to apply the same thinking to our showreel. The first stage was interviewing the team. Paul sat down with each of us and asked a series of simple questions about what we do, why we enjoy it, and what working with our clients means to us. The goal wasn't to capture perfect answers, it was to gather honest responses that could later be woven together into a narrative. At the same time, I started reviewing all the footage we'd shot since the previous showreel and began building the project structure. Music plays a huge role in any showreel. It helps establish pace, emotion, and energy. In many ways, it becomes the backbone of the edit. A great track can elevate average footage, a poor track can make even the strongest visuals feel repetitive or irritating. Previous Manto showreels have often used bold, energetic music that helps drive the edit forward. Because this year's reel relied heavily on interview and sound bites, we needed something a bit different. The music still needed energy, but it also had to create space for the dialogue to breathe. And once we found the right track, everything else started to fall into place. When choosing music for a showreel, I tend to look for tracks that have clear moments of progression or impact, such as a drop near the beginning and ideally another later in the track. These moments can help shape the edit and add emphasis to key sections. Many tracks from platforms like Musicvine or Artlist also include alternative edits, instrumental versions, and stings, which can give your music much more flexibility when adapting to fit the pacing and structure of the reel. If you're creating your own showreel, don't underestimate how much the music influences the final result. It often shapes the pacing and structure more than the footage itself.
What are these guys doing?
So one of the most important parts of any showreel is the opening 5 to 10 seconds, where you have to convince somebody to keep watching. And for this year's reel, we wanted an introduction that immediately felt different. The idea eventually evolved into a stop-motion animation featuring sticker versions of the Manto logo appearing around Chapel Allerton where we're based. We'd seen this effect used really well by the BBC, and it's definitely been trending in motion design circles we follow. Before shooting anything, we built a previs in After Effects using stock imagery and our existing logo animation. And this allowed us to test timing, movement, and transitions before committing to the production. The sequence contained 96 individual frames, so we divided the animation into groups of stickers spread across 8 different locations. After printing and cutting the artwork, Ben and I spent a day walking around Chapel Allerton, searching for colourful and contrasting backgrounds. And to keep the animation consistent, we used framing guides in camera and often layered stickers on top of one another to prevent the backgrounds from shifting too much. The result became the opening sequence of the showreel and immediately set the tone for everything else that followed. Another challenge was finding ways to visually represent everyone within the business. For some team members, this was easy because we already had behind-the-scenes footage from shoots. For others, such as Sophie, our studio manager, we had very little existing content. Josh's interview soundbites discussed the journey from receiving an inquiry through to delivering a finished video, so we decided to create a series of new shots that help visualize that process. We filmed Sophie answering calls, Laura building storyboards, footage from live productions, and screen recordings showing edits being assembled. These moments helped connect the story and made the team feel more present throughout the entire reel. Once the interviews and music were in place, I began building the structure of the showreel. The target length was between 60 and 90 seconds, and that's typically the sweet spot for us. Long enough to showcase a range of work, but short enough to maintain that momentum. The first step was creating a rough cut using only the interview sound bites and music, and once the narrative felt right, I assembled a large sequence containing all of the strongest footage from the previous year, alongside a handful of key shots from earlier projects. I rely heavily on timeline markers during this stage, and markers allow me to map out moments, transitions, and energy shifts before committing to a final edit. It's almost like building a blueprint for the reel. And from there, the process becomes a constant cycle of testing, refining, and replacing shots. You're not simply looking for the best footage, you're looking for the right footage. And that's a distinction a lot of showreels we feel miss. The most impressive shot isn't always the one that best represents the kind of work you want more of. Movement, pacing, colour, subject matter, and emotional tone all influence how well your shots work together. The graphics were designed to support both the narrative and the wider message of the reel. We continued using our rounded rectangle design language, which has become a recognisable part of our branding. And this allowed us to create interactive moments throughout the film, such as the opening sticker animation, Sophie answering the phone, and the beer glasses clinking at the end. We also introduced animated typography using a combination of our brand font and a complementary display typeface. This helped emphasize key messages whilst ensuring the show remained engaging when viewed without sound. Many people now watch content primarily on their phones, so we also paid close attention to how graphics and framing would translate across different aspect ratios and viewing experiences. The final stage involved lots of small adjustments to get things just right, replacing individual shots, tweaking timings, refining graphics, testing alternative versions, and seeing how this all looked on our computer monitors as well as on a handheld device. One of the biggest balancing acts with any showreel is deciding what to prioritize. An awesome drone shot of a festival might look impressive, but if your ideal client works in a corporate office, it may not help them imagine working with you. So one of the most important decisions when building a showreel is understanding who it's actually for. That's why we focused our showreel not just on the finished work, but how it comes together. The conversations, the planning, the shoots, the edit. In the end, that's what shaped this year's showreel. Not simply a collection of our best shots, but a reflection of the people, processes, and projects behind them. Now you've seen the process, hopefully you've picked up a few ideas. Check out the full showreel and let us know whether knowing the story behind it changes how you watch it. And we'll see you in the next one.
I do think there's something about a Manto film that I would instantly recognise in a lineup of 100 other films.
We're really good at original, purposeful, creative storytelling.
So a client could come to us with just a simple beginning of an idea, and we'll cover the whole process from there, from storyboarding it, going out into a shoot, taking it into the edit, all the way through to a finished video.
Is it only a dream?
We're always challenging one another, try and find something new and exciting, something that hasn't maybe been seen before, and then how we can adapt that to our client's brief.
Our main aim is just to always remember what that final outcome needs to be.
Ultimately, what it's about is creating something that delivers results.
Oh, sweet as anything, so good.
We all come from different backgrounds, different levels of experience, but we all kind of align in our passion for just creating video.
The more organised that we can be just really helps, I think, everybody to enjoy the process a bit more, and actually allows some of that creativity maybe to come out.
We get the opportunity to tell their story through film, and I think that's like a really cool job to have.
It's just that thing of knowing that the video that we've made has really connected with someone. That's always what we're trying to do.